Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. Defining discipline is a lifestyle, a mentality, and a brand. And within this podcast, we're going to focus on self-improvement as you follow along with me on my journey. We'll also hear from special guests of all walks of life on this podcast and their remarkable journeys that led them to where they are today. Today is day 161 of my journey, ladies and gentlemen. It was at the beginning of the year when I challenged myself to run 365 days outside in a row, bearing the elements, whatever they may bring. And during that time frame, I also challenged myself to run originally 1,250 miles. But I'm ahead of schedule on those miles, so I've decided to up that mileage to 1,500. 365 days out of the year this year, 1,500 miles during that time frame. And not only did I challenge myself to do that, but I also challenged myself to run 2 big races during the year. One has already been completed, and that was the one that was a little bit more worrisome for me, especially being able to get back out there the following day to continue this streak I have going. So that was a 50K trail race, guys. That was 31 miles. It was in Yankee Springs, Michigan. I was able to finish that one in 7 hours, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds. That was my first ever ultra marathon, and I'm officially an ultra marathoner, an ultra runner. So very stoked and excited about that, and was able to continue getting out there these past 5 days after the race and put in small mileage, but still be able to put in mileage to keep this run streak going. So like I said, we are on day 161. I also have another bigger race coming up here in October. That is the Detroit Free Press International Marathon. You start in Detroit, you run over the Ambassador Bridge into Windsor, Canada, run back through the tunnel and to finish off in Detroit. Really excited about that race. Not so sure what's going to be happening with going across the border and COVID and vaccines and all this thing that's going on. They may, I don't think they will cancel it, but they may change it to where it's not international. Who knows? Everything's kind of up in the air, but I'm still planning on running it and am excited about that one, guys. Like I said, that is in October. They also have something called the Motor City Challenge, which I actually plan on. Haven't officially said it, haven't officially signed up, but plan on doing that. Adding on to the Motor City Challenge, which would be running the 1 mile and the 5K the day before the marathon. So those are the things kind of going on throughout the year. I have done some challenges throughout each of the months. We'll kind of talk about a couple of those. Done some other challenges throughout the months too. You can catch up on those through previous episodes. But let's kind of get into today's episode. Today, like I said, was day 161. Let's talk mileage real quick. For the day today, I kept it nice and sweet. Like I said, today was the 5th day out of running that 31 miles, so I don't want to rush back into too many miles too fast. So I did 1.5 miles for the day. That put me at 6.3 miles for the week, which put me at 46 miles for the month, which put me at 706.2 miles for the year. So overall mileage for the week is down. Normally I try to hit bare minimum of 25 miles a week, and I usually try to average around 33 though. Clearly it's down this week because I had put in so much the previous week with that 31 mile run. So we're only at 6.3, but 46 miles overall, 10 days into the month. That's not too bad at all. That's a pretty good number. 706.2 miles for the year. That's a great number. We're still ahead of schedule with the 1,500 miles. I'd have been way ahead of schedule if I just stuck with the 1,250 for the year. So, this is only my second year running. I may add that as well. The first year in 2020, that was my first full year running. I was able to do 1,002 miles, and I did that in 175 days out of the year in 2020. So this challenge that I'm doing this year is a 50% step up in just miles and a 100% step up in the amount of days I'll be out there running. So now that we kind of talked about mileage for the day, week, month, and year, let's kind of talk about the challenges. One challenge I do every single month is a 100-mile challenge. And I started that challenge to make sure I hit the 1250 mark for the year. But that's kind of out the window now that we're at 1500. But I still want to do the 100-mile challenge every single month. And what we're doing in those challenges is not only am I challenging myself to run 100 miles every single month, but I'm doing it in honor of charity, where I make a donation to a certain charity, and I start a fundraiser in honor of that charity, and we try to raise money for that charity as well as awareness for that charity throughout that month. So for the first 5 months, we were able to raise money for 5 great charities, and now we're sitting here in the 6th month. So for the 6th month of June, the 100-mile challenge for June is in honor of Alzheimer's Association. If you would like to make a donation to the Alzheimer's Association in this fundraiser, you can find the link to do that in the Defining Discipline story, Instagram story, as well as the Defining Discipline Facebook story. You may also find the link in my personal page's Instagram story, as well as my personal page's Facebook story, ladies and gentlemen. All donations that get made to this fundraiser go to this fundraiser. So don't think that any cut you make is going to Facebook. They are not taking any cut. That's why we continue to do all of these fundraisers through Facebook, is because they've agreed not to take any percentage of the donations. So the reason we chose Alzheimer's Association, guys, to this month is because this month is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, guys. So just to kind of get into that a little bit, dementia, Alzheimer's disease, it is a serious disease. If you know anyone who has it, or know anyone who is suffering from it, even if, maybe not close, but someone who knows someone that is suffering from it, it is a very devastating disease. It is hard not only on the person that actually has it, but on their family. So I really wanted to try to, again, raise money this month and kind of bring up the issue in general, try to get people to really think about it, because it's something that I think a lot of us don't, even the brain awareness, a lot of us don't really pay attention to the things that we're consuming, the things that we do, and our brain is the most important part of our body. It makes all of our muscles and organs work. So to think that we're not taking care of it properly, because even me, who's trying to be conscious about it, knows there's so much I can do, such a better job at treating my brain better. So I just wanted to bring that to the forefront, try to really make you maybe think about that, think about what people have to go through who are suffering from Alzheimer's disease or dementia, and what their family has to go through, and how devastating that can be and is on them. So wanted to bring that to the forefront, kind of talk about it here for a second before we got into today's episode 161. So now that we talked about that, like I said, guys, if you can, please make your donations. You can find the link to that, again, one last time, on the Defining Discipline Instagram story, as well as the Defining Discipline Facebook story, or my personal page's Instagram story, or my personal page's Facebook story. If you're unable to make a donation and you still want to help out and help this fundraiser and this cause, the best thing you guys can do is click that share button. Put it on your page. Don't be ashamed. Let people see it. Let's raise awareness. That's the main thing here, is trying to get as many eyes on it as possible. I'm making a donation. If you can make a donation, great. If you can't, I get it. But let's get as many eyes as possible on this, so people can really understand and get an understanding for it, and realize that this is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, and maybe they can be informed a little bit more than they are already. So enough babbling, guys. Let's get into today's episode. Episode 161. I'm trying to keep it short, trying to keep it flowing fast, because I need to be more productive in general. So let's talk about that, guys. Episode 161, for today's episode, the theme is going to be think. And I know I just threw you off because I said I need to be more productive, and it's think. But those two words tie into me because I am less productive because I think too much. Okay, I overthink. So today's episode is think, guys. I think too much. I am always too much in my head all the time. That I even think out the scenarios almost that I need to put myself in, and I think them out instead of just putting myself in them and figuring out what would happen. I make up I don't know. Maybe that doesn't make sense to you, but I just overthink everything. I think about things too much that I don't act. I just think because I want to make sure that if I act, I'm doing the right acting, that I'm going the right way, that I'm making the right decisions. I'm always overthinking things instead of just taking the initiative of doing. And I'm sorry, guys, if you do hear your baby crying upstairs. That's just going to be part of today's episode. So there's so many countless times within my life that I can think back on where I had a chance to really, I had opportunities and I maybe missed out on those opportunities because I was thinking, I was thinking too much. I overthought about things instead of taking advantage of the opportunities while they were there. So I wanted to bring this up because it's something that I'm dealing with still on a daily basis of overthinking, and I'm bringing this to the forefront because this podcast is about self-improvement. It's about trying to figure out what I can improve on and how I can improve on that. And one thing I can improve on is my overthinking. I need to be able to, like I said, just put my head down and just do it instead of thinking too much. And one example of this is I remember one time living in Florida. It's not a crazy story or anything, but I let my overthinking and I let my own, my overthinking get to me where I never went out. I never put myself out in situations. I'm always kind of more of an introvert where I'm not very outgoing. So I'm always thinking in my head instead of just talking to people. So I remember just being in Florida and always overthinking and not being very happy, being in a very dark place at that time because I just felt like nothing was working out for me. And before moving to Florida, it seemed like having friends and just everything in life kind of just flowed and kind of just came to me, and it was just so not necessarily easy, but it had its ebb and flows. It worked well. It kind of just, it was like a wave, and I wrote it well. But then, the wave, when I went to Florida, it was like the wave hit the beach and there was nothing else to ride, and I didn't know what to do, and I was always overthinking, and I didn't put myself out there enough, is what I felt, at least. And then I remember one day, it wasn't even about meeting people or anything, but it was just about getting out of my comfort zone. And I remember just writing on my hand DTJD. And anytime I'd put myself in any kind of situation where I was scared or I was uncomfortable or I was overthinking the situation, I would just keep repeating. I would look down at my hand and see that DTJD. And I would just keep repeating, don't think, just do. Don't think, just do. Don't think, just do. And not that I did anything crazy by doing this, but I remember really pushing my boundaries in certain situations by just being able to look at my hand and remind myself that, sometimes I get in my head too much. Sometimes I can overthink it. And, sometimes when you overthink it, you're trying to think of the best situation. At least me, it's like I'm trying to figure out, before I take an action, I want to make sure that the action I take is the right action. But I spend so much time thinking about that all the actions I could have taken have passed by. So my main thing is trying to really work on cutting out my overthinking, cutting out getting in my head. I need to ride the wave more instead of thinking about how I'm going to ride the wave. So that's pretty much it, guys, for today's episode. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. I just wanted to kind of really talk about, like I said at the beginning of, before we kind of cut into beginning of actually getting into the episode, I wanted to be more productive, and I need to be more productive. And the best way to do that sometimes is to just do things and not overthink things. So that is my main thing, guys, is I do need to think. I do need to be smart about things. It's not always, it's not well advised, I guess I should say. It's not well advised at all just to go into things always blindly and to never think at all about things. So it's not that I need to not think about things before I do them, but I just need to cut out the overthinking. I need to not dwell on what could or what might happen, and just really focus on getting what needs to get done at the time, and really, like I said, focus on getting out of these comfort zones and making my my zones of uncomfortability. I don't even know if that's a word, so that's something I got to work on right there. The zones of where I'm uncomfortable at, and I got to be comfortable with those zones. That's my goal, is to try to be comfortable within the uncomfortable. And one of those things is me overthinking. So that's pretty much it, guys. I don't want to keep you too much longer. I feel like I'm kind of babbling now. So this was episode 161. I'll leave you guys, and I'll see you guys for tomorrow, episode 162. I think I'm going to try to get a morning run in tomorrow instead of an afternoon run. As you can tell, I got my ears lowered. I don't know if you've been following along, but I have got my haircuts. Trying to get a morning run in tomorrow, and for sure Saturday. Saturday is I'll be attending a wedding, so it'll probably be a short episode and all that, but just trying to really quit overthinking, guys. I've been in my head too much. It's been really stressing me out, so trying to quit overthinking and just start really getting out there and start acting on things. One thing I have noticed before we close this episode out, one thing I have noticed is, I have been in my head too much, and when I'm sitting still and doing things around the house and stuff, and I get in my head too much, I get, like I said, I work myself up, I get depressed, I get, all crazy and everything like that, and me actually getting out and acting, just getting out there and running and doing things. Yes, I still think, but it helps me really clear my mind and helps me kind of organize the things that I need to be really thinking about when I'm out there running. I am running and focusing on my breath and all that stuff and focusing on my run, but it kind of like puts the things that I really need to be thinking about to the forefront, and that's why I kind of really love running. It kind of really levels me out and helps me kind of balance when I kind of get into those modes of overthinking and start falling into that spiral of not knowing what the heck's going on. So that is one thing I noticed, like I said. So that's why I want to continue to do this, is just try to really get going, get moving, stay super busy, but busy on a good level where I'm not overthinking. So here we go, guys. Thank you so much for following along. For today, episode 161, your daily discipline. It's to not overthink. Quit thinking about it, guys. It's to act. That is your daily discipline. What is it that you are overthinking on a daily basis right now? What are you overthinking on? What in your future that you are trying to obtain, or what kind of goal are you going after, or whatever the case may be? What is it in your future, or maybe right now in your present, or in your past, whatever the case may be? What is it in your life right now that you are overthinking and it's stressing you out, and it's really taking away from you acting and taking away from you really taking away the attention, taking away your attention from the things that really need it at that time. So what is it in your life that you are overthinking about? And for your daily discipline today, it is to quit thinking about it. It is to quit overthinking about it. Get it out, okay? Let's cut it out. Let's focus on what we need to focus on. Let's start acting. That is your daily discipline for the day, guys. That is also going to be mine, and I'm going to try to continue it. So I want to thank you guys so much for following along. This is episode 161 of the Defining Discipline podcast. I am your host, Scott. If you guys can, please give us a like, a subscribe, a follow, and a share on our Facebook, our Instagram, the TikTok, our YouTube, and whatever podcast streaming platform you guys have been listening along on. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow for episode 162. Thanks so much. Peace out.